Hello viewers, today we will be talking on complement system, its role in inflammation and opsonization. Complement system is basically a system of 30 proteins. These proteins are present in body fluids and tissues and they are causing no harm to us. In fact, they are helping our immune system and it is enhancing the ability of phagocytes and antibodies. That means when I'm talking of phagocytes, that means non-specific ones, innate immunity. So complement system is helping innate immunity as well as adaptive immunity. When we are talking of antibodies, there comes the adaptive immunity. So complement system is the system which is enhancing both kind of immunity, both mechanisms of immunity, that is adaptive and innate, and it is enhancing the ability of both the adaptive and innate one. That means it is helping. These complement proteins, while they are present in body fluids, but they are synthesized in liver. Remember, these proteins are synthesized in liver. I've already talked a lot about infection. That is entry of microbes, they're creating a base and then multiplying. Once that infection happens, these complements get activated. These complement proteins, which are 30 in number, when present, normally they are in inactive form. But when they comes and gets introduced with any kind of infection or invader, they gets activated and cascade of series of reactions start. And precursor one precursor when gets activated, it activates the other ones, and then the series start. The precursor can get activated and this series can take three pathways. When it comes in contact with microbes, it can take three pathways. That means activation of complement protein, one protein leads to the activation another one, and three pathway. This can happen in three pathways, very interesting three pathways. One is classical pathway, another one is alternative pathway, and another there is third one also, empty pathway. These pathways we will be discussing in different lectures, because there is lot of to mug up all 30 proteins, how they roll, what happens. And it's interesting too, like if we understand what precursor makes, when gets activated, it activates which one. This series has to be seen and we will study them one by one. Here we are talking only, I'm in this lecture, I'm just going to give a brief introduction of complement system so that our viewers can just get introduced what is complement system. So complement system, again, I'm repeating, 30 proteins. They are in form of precursors, and one precursor when gets activated, it leads to series of activation of other precursors. This series we are going to read, and this pathway is three kinds of pathway, in which when it encounters an infection, how complement start helping immune cells, and how the different two types of immunity gets activated. This enhances their ability to fight. So early phase of infection, the complement cascade can be activated on the surface of pathogen through one or more of the three pathways. It's not like that only one pathway, it will work through one pathway. It can take one or two also together. Then the terms which are important to be introduced while reading complement system is, one is opsonization. What is opsonization? It's a process of recognizing and targeting invading particles and thus helping the phagocytes. It will recognize and target. How it target? Opsonization works through opsonins. Complement proteins are like opsonins. They are mediating opsonization because they are acting like opsonins. The one of the question for MCQs can be, which are the complement proteins which can help in opsonization? So they are the C3b, C4b, C1q. So 2 B's and 1 Q. 3 and 4b and C1q are important complement proteins which help in mediating opsonization. What is opsonization? Opsonization is just recognizing the enemy. This is the enemy and tag that enemy. Opsonins will tag. Why this tag is essential? Because some pathogens have repulsion with the immune cells, as their cell walls are having the same charge as the immune cells. So they get repelled, and so immune cells are not able to phagocytose them or engulf them. So this these opsonils will help in tagging them and creating a path through which these can be phagocytosed. Enemies can be phagocytosed. So tagging and then taking up. Taking up becomes easy for phagocytes if opsonils tag them. A point to remember is, while we are talking of complement system, but here just an important thing I want to tell about opsonization, that opsonization can be mediated by, as we have studied, by complement proteins, and it can be mediated by antibodies and some circulatory proteins also, like pentraxins, colectins, ficolins. These three circulating proteins are the ones which can secrete pattern recognition receptors. Pattern recognition receptors, I have talked in my lecture when we were discussing corona and omicron. These pattern recognition receptors are important for neutrophils also start functioning. Their functional abilities are increased if there are some pattern recognition receptors on the pathogens that has to be engulfed. So opsonins tag or create such conditions in which our immune cells start functioning in a better condition, in a better way. And that is what complement is doing. Complementing is enhancing the ability of both kind of immunity, innate as well as adaptive. Now, complement system also activates inflammation. What is inflammation? Inflammation is just rushing of leukocytes, WBCs, at a site where there is infection. So complement will create such conditions in which inflammation can happen. It will dilate the blood vessels, and chemicals, cytokines will be secreted. Cytokines are what? Cell to cell talk. So these cytokines, different kind of cytokines will be, cytokines we have already discussed, like histamines, bradykinins. This will be secreted, and more immune cells. Inflammation is basically, it happens in, it's non-specific. So innate cells, innate immunity will be activated, and those cells which are non-specific, that is phagocytes, will be called off, and this way there will be more attack on the enemy. So this is complement system is interesting, as it is complementing immune cells and helping immune system through different kind of immunity. These work in three pathways. We will be discussing these three pathways individually in different lectures. These are very interesting. Today, just the things to remember is what is complement system, how it helps in inflammation and opsonization. Thank you so much.